That's America first. Bankrupt the people that live here, work here, and pay taxes here. So you can go ahead and make money off of their desperation and their, I don't know, their stupidity for voting for your administration.
I just want to see the argument that happened in his head before he went with stupidity. You know, because he was like, no, don't do it, don't do it. They need to hear it. They need to hear it. We going with stupidity. You're doing a public service by going with stupidity. Let them have it. Hey, shout out to all of the subscribers and members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video and share if you can. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Who Raised Y'all, where we highlight those unique individuals going above and beyond to make society worse.
I rock with Maga because Maga rocks with me. Maga holds me down. They're always encouraging me. They're always speaking life into me. And they're the ones who are most likely to repost. They're the ones who are most likely to click the link in my bio and donate to me.
You know, the kinds of people you'll see asking to speak to the manager at the pearly gates.
I want to talk to the manager.
Hey, Maga. I know. Feels like we're here every week on Who Raised Y'all, but these are things that you need to hear. Now, you remember last week how y'all were keying it about the South Africans arriving on American shores?
And just like that, folks, the liberal left is pissed. They are not happy. They are now against immigration into this country. Refugees. The same folks that want to come here to have a better life and to settle down and be fast-tracked into becoming U.S. citizens and to contribute honorably into this country. They show up with American flags and with gratitude and with the hopes of living out the American dream. And here we are, we have Americans that are not accepting of these folks. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Which admittedly was weird at the time. I'll be perfectly honest. I've never seen anybody celebrate more dudes in the club. I think you just brought more dudes in the club and thought that it was a flex. Like I don't understand how having 50 people in the breadline as opposed to 40 makes you more likely to get the spoils. But I realize math has never been your strong suit, or else you would have realized that billionaires are not in your class. But remember all that fun you was having last week? Well, look, here's a little something you need to hear.
Wondering where all these South Africans are gonna go? Don't worry, they already had a plan in place, and it was called AcreTrader. That's right, they already took the farmland from farmers who were failing. As a matter of fact, they have about 40,000 acres of farmland that they took from American farmers because they wouldn't give them subsidies. AcreTrader is an American real estate investment company that specializes in farmland. It says here that the company aims to increase investor access to real estate assets and provides capitals to farmers and growers to expand their business. But what they failed to leave out here is that the first investor into AcreTrader was none other than JD Vance. You know JD Vance, the one who's in charge of the White House with the president who is cutting all the subsidies to the farmers? Yeah, that JD Vance. And what they also failed to mention is the fact that the people who were investing, yeah, they were South Afrikaners. And guess who just came to America to go on these farms? That's right, you guessed it.
I know. It's harsh, isn't it? Yeah. To find out, this is like having them train your replacement at work, which is a circumstance you're probably used to. So they felt like you had experience in this regard where you could train up the South Africans for how to be good Americans. Huh? What's that? Oh, you don't trust her. You want to hear from somebody white?
Farmers for Trump. Those rich, white, South African farmers, they want to thank you. They want to thank you for your tax dollars and for giving up your federal subsidies that you get every single year to grow your crops. They want to thank you that you lost out on billions of dollars on behalf of these rich, white, South African farmers who were oppressed because their land was taken away, because they stole in the first place. These farmers, they want to thank you, you farmers and you cattle ranchers. We know that you're never getting that business back because China gave it to Australia and other countries, but they want to thank you. We know that you did this for America and for the long-term good of your family and your farm. Thank you from the bottom of their rich, white, South African hearts. Thank you.
What? That ain't good enough? Oh, it's got to be a white man. You've been talking to Darren Beatty, haven't you?
Hey, I like that comment. I agree with it. This is the first time I can think of to where there's not a huge outpouring to want to support farmers. And it's because of how they voted. They voted to create this situation that we saw in this original video. And if you're just tuning in, you might want to click on the comment to hear about the struggles of this Trump voting farmer. But the Gilded Age, the golden age of America, Trump wants to return to. Well, if you look at that, farmers were forced off their land during that time period because of industrialization, right? So they lost their farms, moved to town, and got a factory job. So I just think that might be what they're doing. They're probably trying to push farmers off their land, get them to move to town and work factories.
All right, let's see. JD Vance funded AcreTrader. Here's why that matters. The real estate portfolio streamlines investing in U.S. farmland. Now farms are fast becoming a portfolio staple for investors worldwide. Some of the most pristine farmland in California can be yours, at least by proxy, in just a matter of minutes. That's the promise that AcreTrader, a company with the mission of simplifying investing in valuable U.S. farmland, makes to prospective financiers. AcreTrader is just one of many companies launched in the past decade that facilitate the sale of farmland, which has increasingly become a staple in investor portfolios. Recently, it was revealed that this includes the investment portfolio of vice presidential nominee JD Vance, a Republican senator from Ohio. Yeah, it hurts, don't it? Hey, look, y'all the ones that decided that JD Vance was trustworthy.
Why are food and groceries getting so expensive? One reason is that we let communist China buy up American farmland, threatening our food supply and our national security.
So what Vance just said there was completely untrue. China is basically negligible in all foreign-owned land in the United States, while Canada owns nearly a third of foreign-owned land. And foreign-owned land is only 3% around of American farmland. So that isn't one of the direct causes of inflation.
I mean, I knew I couldn't trust him when he couldn't have a decent conversation while he waited for donuts to be prepared. I mean, if you can't make 90 seconds of small talk, you know what I mean? I guess that was the balance with the ticket. It was who would you most want to have a beer with, and who would you least like to do anything with? And I guess that was that what made sense to y'all? Well, look, don't trust me. Listen to the CEO himself.
Walk us through the model, the platform, and how quickly someone could go from evaluating the land to investing in it as well.
In a matter of minutes, to the second part there, so very quickly, our team is really there to help them with evaluations. So we're about 150 people in total. A good portion of that is software engineers and data scientists supporting a lot of the decisioning. But ultimately, how it works is very simple. We're a platform for investors to gain access to farmland. Farmland has performed incredibly well historically, We haven't heard much about it because, frankly, you had to go out and plop down $1 million and manage a farm. It's just not a thing most people could do. So that's where our platform, AcreTrader, comes in. We really help the individual come on, and rather than investing $1 million, you can put in $10,000 and own a slice of a farm.
I mean, look on the bright side, Maga. At least he's not investing in furniture. That would be a different kind of conflict.
You guys aren't going to believe this shit. I'll make it fast, but stay to the end for the kicker. You remember the last few years when you could not find a single family home, and if you could, you probably couldn't afford it because you had corporate interests like Zillow and BlackRock. They were coming in, heavily investing in the real estate market, wiping the single family homes off the market so the average person could not even buy one. Fast forward to this week, I'm sure you've seen the story of the Missouri farmer, the young guy who was at risk of losing his farm because the grant that he was going to receive to reimburse him for all these expenses he had been cut. Well, look, they've also cut U.S. aid, which gave farmers millions and millions of dollars because they would buy their crops and then send them overseas or send them, places here in the United States to help people in need, but it also helped the farmers. Well, I found out today that there is a website called AcreTrader. AcreTrader is a company that heavily invests in agricultural land. So you can go invest in these farms that are failing, that somehow they're just starting to fail, and you can just buy them up. Well, guess who heavily funded AcreTrader? JD fucking Vance. Do you think they're out here just destroying these small farms so they can buy them up, all these tech bros? Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does not. I have my answers. In fact, I had my answers in November.
So I just found out that JD Vance opened a little company called AcreTrader. And what does AcreTrader trade? That's right, farms. All right, the same farms that are being foreclosed due to what? Oh, that's right, the horrific tariffs that have literally bankrupted them. Oh, and AcreTrader specifically markets to who? Investors and conglomerates overseas. That's America first. Bankrupt the people that live here, work here, and pay taxes here. So you can go ahead and make money off of their desperation and their, their stupidity for voting for your administration. And then make billionaires and millionaires overseas billions and millions of dollars. That's great. That's just absolutely amazing what this administration has done for America. Break it all down, buy it all up. That's greed for you. I told you so.
I just want to see the argument that happened in his head before he went with stupidity. Because he was like, no, don't do it. They need to hear it. They need to hear it. We going with stupidity. You're doing a public service by going with stupidity. Let them have it.
Hey guys, it's Will, and I'm here at the mushroom house at the farm. And I got to be honest with you right up front, there's no way to make this video without it sounding like an I told you so video. And I apologize for that ahead of time, but the truth is it's got to be told. Many of you remember before the election, I did several videos where I tried to speak to rural America, particularly farmers and ranchers, to talk to them about the ramifications of a second term for Donald Trump. And in several of those videos, I talked about the fact that if we were to elect Donald Trump and he were to impose a second round of tariffs on China, the results would be devastating. And if you think hard about it, you'll remember what we talked about. Number one, we talked about the fact that China wasn't prepared for the tariffs in the first Trump administration. They had a disease going through their hog population. They didn't have good stocks of row crops. So they were caught off guard. And they had to continue to buy some American pork and some American row crop products in order to survive the tariffs, especially the time of C-19. But we also talked about what's happened since then. The Chinese no longer have a disease going through their pork population, and they're well stocked in pork. And in addition to that, they've reached out to South America and made best friends with the governments of Brazil and Argentina. And they are importing a lot of wheat and corn and soybeans from South America to the point where Brazil, which used to supply China with only 13% of their row crops, is now supplying them with over 43% of their row crops. And that relationship is just getting cozier and cozier. And we talked about the fact that if we were to impose another round of tariffs on China, it would be devastating for row crop farmers because since China is more prepared, not only would they be less likely to continue to buy row crops from Americans and from American farmers, they would also impose reciprocal tariffs of their own that would be devastating for row crop farmers in America. And guys, that's exactly what's happened. That's exactly what's happened. And again, this isn't an I told you so video, but it sure as hell is I wish you would listen video.
So he got the I wish you would listen video. That his video is I wish you would listen. I took it and stitched it and put a I told you so package and then put it back out. Then I got the I told you, you know what I mean? It's like, hee hee.
I came down.
Now, we have already discussed right here on this platform the many issues that farmers have faced just in the past few months with regards to this administration.
I wanted to start off by saying I did vote for Donald Trump. We are possibly going to lose our farm if NRCS doesn't hold up their contract with us on the EQIP program. So the reason that they're not able to hold up the contract is our EQIP program, which is cost sharing on fences, waters, a well, and some seedings, was funded by the Inflation Reduction Act. Because of the executive orders, there's a pause or a freeze on the funding through the Inflation Reduction Act. Also, everybody says in the comments, Project 2025, didn't you read that? That's his platform. From my understanding, that wasn't his platform. That's not what he's running on. And I never thought I would be on the political side of TikTok because it's definitely not something I'm interested in. I'm interested in the farm side of TikTok. And it really sucks that I can't get engaged with the farm side of TikTok. But politics, everybody gets worked up about it. But Project 2025, I did not read Project 2025 because from my understanding, that's not what he was running on. That's what I was told, and that's the information that I had. I don't have TV out here.
But since then, and before we came to this realization, we had seen things get even more treacherous. Things that they're now laying at the feet of Donald Trump. So at least I can give them that credit.
Supporter of President Donald Trump, voted for him in this election and the last and the one prior to that. However, President Trump is about to allow JBS, the world's most corrupt beef organization, to become publicly traded in America. President Donald Trump will be the president that allows for the complete destruction of the small, independent family farms and cattle ranches if he allows this to go through. The SEC has already approved it. Now we're just waiting a mere few days for them to allow it on the stock exchange. And what's concerning is we haven't heard a word from the Secretary of Agriculture about this. We haven't heard any of the large cattle organizations that represent cattlemen speak out about this. They claim to represent cattlemen. The truth is they only represent the big guys. They're bought and paid for by the same organizations, JBS, Cargill, Tyson, National Beef, all the collusion that's happening. Go do a very simple search and you'll see the millions and millions and tens upon millions of dollars that these companies have been ordered to pay for collusion and price fixing, which has cost us our family farms and ranches. And what that costs us as the people who aren't family farms and ranches is a stable food system. As much as I'm a supporter of many of the other things that Trump is doing, anything else in the world that we're working to accomplish and achieve doesn't matter when you have famine and you starve to death. So, Mr. President, I love you. I appreciate you. It is our job as citizens to hold you accountable. And whoever you've got in your circle, they ain't speaking truth because you're about to put us in a whole world of hurt.
So if I have this right, you guys are America first, and somehow you believed that he was going to advocate for you despite how he's treated rank and file and workers and employees throughout his entire professional life. But that aside, you thought he was going to be for you. And now not only are you seeing the way that he kowtows to foreign interests, you are literally seeing yourselves be replaced.
I think farming's going to have to change a lot. I was at a Pioneer meeting 2 weeks ago. One is I was sitting there and I was looking around. There was probably 40 people there. And I was like, damn, there's a lot of old frickin' farmers in here. I mean, these guys are old. And then I thought about it and I'm like, shit, you're old. You're 53 years old. There was only 2 people in there that were like what I would say young. There's a huge amount of land. I mean, we talk about it all the time, but just in our county probably has more young farmers in it than many because there's more opportunities here because of the livestock side of it. But this land is going to get turned over like you've never seen, and the big are going to get ginormous because the margins on raising corn and soybeans are terrible.
All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. MAGA. I will appeal to the rest of them and see how they feel. And I'll be honest, when I did this a couple months ago, they wasn't with it. But I will see if their hearts have been softened since the past, 30 to 60 days of the Trump administration. They might receive you better now.
I don't care. I don't fucking care. All these videos on this app about how in 3 weeks the grocery stores are going to be empty, good. Fucking let that fucking play out. Okay, take some precautions, but let that shit play out. Farmers on this app boo-hooing because they're losing their farms, fuck all the way off. What did you think was going to happen? Joe Biden bailed you out, then you turned around and voted for Trump. So yeah, I'm glad that all your government grants and bailouts and farmer welfare got taken away from you. And I hope to God a Democrat buys your land and is profitable. Truckers. Oh my God, the amount of truckers on my algorithm right now boo-hooing that they don't have any loads, which by the way, at first is kind of funny. But what? 90% of you voted for this. What the fuck did you think was going to happen when he tariffed the whole world and there was going to be no product to move around the country? Hello? Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm scared to death of the fucking shitstorm that we are all about to fucking walk through. And the longevity of those empty shelves fucking keeps me up at night. But the only thing that keeps me going is that any day it could happen.
Every time I stop to think, okay, we should really start getting involved as the Black collective, I get pissed off and I go, no, I didn't break it. I don't want to get involved in something that someone else broke, particularly if they broke it thinking that they weren't going to suffer, but others would. This individualism thing here in the United States. I want to get involved, but then you find out some shit like the farmers for Trump. Farmers for Trump. Losing their farms, which coincidentally happens to be at the same time that they're bringing over 8,000 South Africans who lost their land in South Africa. So farmers, what do y'all think is going to happen with that land? I'll wait. What do y'all think is going to happen to your land that's been in your family for hundreds of years? You've been farming and tilling and producing. Now you have no money, and the South Africans are coming. How do you feel about that? What are you going to do with those pew-pews that you were going to use in this so-called civil war now? Now they've introduced the enemy. And what are you going to do about it? Because I certainly don't hear y'all saying anything. You voted for this. You chose this. And no, I'm not helping you. No, because you meant to hurt me. And you're hurting yourselves. The fucked up shit is, I'm still here. And I'm going to have to suffer right with you. Not as bad as you, trust me. Because y'all don't know how to suffer. But, it affects everybody. Your choice. I hope you can live with yourselves. I hope your ancestors that now see their land going to a foreigner who could care two shits about you, I hope they come and haunt you for the rest of your life.
That was pretty clear. That was pretty clear. Yeah. It's almost like they put it in writing. I just heard about JD Vance's investment in AcreTrader. Doesn't this seem like a huge conflict of interest? It's like he's betting farms will fail. He certainly benefits from it. The time to come together was in 2021 when we all watched J6 and Biden spent 2 years extending an olive branch to Maga. Maga spat in his face, literally made Let's Go Brandon a thing, and cheerfully elected a guy who promised to be an authoritarian on day one and surrounded himself with literal Yahtzees. I feel horrible about the farmers who voted for Harris, but I don't want to hear from the ones who proudly voted Trump 3 times, who now want to come together because they're the ones getting hurt. They wanted to hurt me because I'm a liberal. They wanted to hurt my friends because they are LGBTQ. They wanted to hurt women. Are they going to, quote, all come together when Trump takes away the ACA and sentences me to an early death? Show me a MAGA farmer who is coming together to help one LGBTQ person and we can talk. Until then, I hope it hurts. Trump said he was going to do this. He published multiple plans on what Agenda 47 and how Project 2025 he was going to do this. They voted for it. Those MAGA farmers need to stop gloating and embrace this. And then we got another response. Exactly. Read the book Dying of Whiteness. These poor whites will kill themselves if they think it will also kill a minority. That was even worse than the audio version. I'll be honest. That was quite a read, but you know, I'm here providing a public service. MAGA, I told you I was going to appeal. They not feeling it. They not feeling it. And there's more. At a time when farmers are at grave risk of bearing the brunt of Trump's tariffs and funding freezes, DOGE is trying to shut down USDA offices across California, the largest agricultural producing state in the nation. We bankrupt our own U.S. farmers due to insane food prices and prices below costs. Consolidation of producers and distributors. What word is that? Usurious. Relating to the practice of usury. Usurious rates. Consolidation of producers and distributors, usurious equipment sale and maintenance contracts, then buy up their land via private equity and AcreTrader, and then let South Afrikaners into farm. What? Ah, yes, it has all become quite clear. In fact, for you, as I mentioned, this was pretty clear to us beforehand that this was the way that this was going to go, because we had a whole 4 years of experience with how he operates, as did you. And you didn't heed that warning, now did you?
I'm going to tell you something a lot of people don't like to talk about. Oligarchs love recessions. It's a fucking fire sale. It gets them all in their feels, right? I live in rural America. I know exactly what they are doing. It happened to communities like mine first, and now they're bringing it nationwide. Bring on the bad times so they can buy up all the farmland. Bring on the recession so you can make people desperate, willing to work for any wage. There are very few small farmers left, and this is the way they did it. Get rid of the infrastructure. There's no way to get your shit to market if you wanted to. Defund the schools to 4 days a week so kids can work. Make childcare deserts so women have to stay home. Get people off the farms, get them into towns where they have to work for wages that are nearly unlivable. Create massive income inequality, a new Gilded Age. All of this, everything you're seeing, is on purpose. The oligarchs are laughing all the way to the bank.
And you gave them the keys to the tractor, the directions to the bank, and the combination to the vault and the safe. But you want to kiki about the South Africans showing up. Is it as funny as it was last week? Hey, I would like to cordially invite you to my premiere. Did you know I premiere all of my videos? I have them every day, and I'm in the chat going back and forth with you guys live. So be on the lookout for notifications. And every day when we're in the premiere, I hear the same thing. I didn't know it was happening. I didn't get the notifications, which is something that I'm looking into, by the way.
What are you prepared to do about it? Don't let no one come into your house. Take your meal. Do what you need to do today.
Another way that you can help ensure you get those notifications is to subscribe to the channel. And also that helps amplify and boost our signal to make sure everybody is getting the message on all the good stuff that we got going on. Message! And of course, if you're interested in early access to the videos, the deep archive, the backstage, the extras, there is a link to membership in the description box to all of the videos. And if you like me, cheap is life. I remember my parents used to buy me shoes that were 3 sizes too big so I could grow into them. Well, the discount for the first month of the Patreon is running out, so make sure you take advantage of that at patreon.com/ReeseWaters. And all of you existing members, there's a code for you guys to try it for free for the first couple of months on me. Now, I want you to take a listen to something.
Turn me up a little bit, or just a little bit more. I got a message that I want to send across the world. Listen, baby.
Now that was sent in to us by Thomas Young, or as his friends call him, Preach.
Yeah, Ricky Fontaine. Pretty Ricky, what they call him.
For use on my Way of Waters channel. Well, I'm looking for the exact same thing on this channel. So if you are a musician or you know one and you got a cut of music that you wouldn't mind going hand in hand with some really good jokes and social justice commentary, go ahead and send it my way at admin@reesewaters.com. And now end, as I always do, with eternal gratitude for helping us get to this point.